got him. Kabza.
Don't be afraid to tag in at NASA Cricket as well if you want. Just trying to get my followers up a little bit.
You did not.
No, I didn't mention at NASA Cricket.
Oh, Hussein. Rob Key will have you. Keezy, I know you're listening. Get at him. Oh, goodness. He's nearly wiped out Buff Duplessis there. 4 runs.
Well, he told Quinton to get up in the previous over. So Quinton saying, you get down at that end. He's absolutely nailed him. Don't you ever tell me to get up again.
Wow. Not a lot of chance here for Buff Duplessis. The intent certainly shown here by the South Africans. JP, I think you called it a momentum shift, the over before, and it certainly has. Not that Quinton's playing any differently, but there'll be a whole lot more confidence from both these men, isn't it, to finish off the power play now. Yeah, you think about it, the structure of power plays generally in T20 cricket these days. First 2 overs are generally a bit of an eye-fighter for a bit, and then you gain a little bit of momentum, try not to lose too many wickets, but the last 2 is definitely put the accelerator down.
The other thing you got to factor in is the Archer fact. I know you boys did the IPL, and Archer just doesn't go for runs. And I know he got picked up for 6 by Quinton de Kock, but any bowler following Archer in a power play, someone has to go. So when Curran comes on, they're not getting many from Archer's end. So whoever's at the other end, they're coming after you. And it's the Archer effect a little bit in a power play, and Curran was dealt with.
Yeah, it comes down to those matchups, isn't it? Where in your team discussions we talk about the X-factor players. Jofra Archer will definitely be one of those. So can you identify your strengths? So left-hander, Quinton de Kock, looking straight, Faf du Plessis as well. And the pitch certainly suits them. Yeah, often it's difficult to quantify how much better some players are than others. But when situations allow for things to be different, for a game to look a whole lot different, then it tells you. So someone like Jofra Archer, it doesn't matter what team he is playing for, whoever's playing against him sees his overs as dangerous and those are the ones to keep out, and sees everyone else as an opportunity to attack.
Yeah, the other problem for England is the balance of their side. Moeen Ali's been struggling. And Moeen Ali would probably bowl in the power play. They never bowl Rashid in the power play. I reckon Rashid will come on straight after the power play. But by leaving out Moeen Ali, they've lost one of their power play bowlers. And Moeen against Quinton de Kock has been an interesting matchup over the years.
Shot and well fielded. 5th time they've had a 50 partnership. Quinton de Kock and Faf du Plessis. Just 29 balls it's taken, courtesy of that over. But they do well together. Quinton de Kock up at the front just goes. That's the way he does play, is able to adjust with the wickets quick, slow. It kind of determines how quickly he will score. And du Plessis is well able to adjust to different surfaces and different situations that South Africa find themselves in. Power play done, the Powerade power play, 57 for 1. Yeah, it's been a good power play for South Africa. 57 for 1. Just
the 1 wicket of Timber Paluma. Since then, they've definitely found their range as South Africa. Du Plessis going the aerial option. Played some exquisite strokes. Gaining some momentum.
Rashid, 50 matches, top strike rate that with 49 wickets and a really good economy, 7.6.
Trying to spin it away from whichever batsman's on strike.
Milestone for Adil Rashid, 2020 international. Do you throttle down, JP, in this period? I mean, they're going so well, 52 from 31. What happens?
I mentioned that word matchups, and it's become a real familiar conversation in T20 cricket. Quinton de Kock will identify a leg spinner, possibly an opportunity to look for a boundary or two, particularly in the first part of his over. But if it's not there, just make sure that you're getting off strike. And when that boundary ball presents itself, you got to capitalize.
Do you go looking out for it, or do you wait for it to present itself? And I ask particularly when guys are starting out with spells. So here's Adil Rashid, and he's starting up.
I think there's an element of it. You would identify a certain area where you believe that this is the area where I can really dominate, particularly when the ball is spinning into the left-hander. But if it's not there, as I mentioned earlier, it's about making sure that there's not many dot balls. So when you're coming down the crease, if it's there, you go. If it's not, you make sure you just rotate that strike.
With these teams and every other team preparing for 2021 and 2020 World Cup, each of the games that you play must have purpose. There must be a plan with what you're doing. Aggression and how to temper it. I watch England a lot of the time, and they look like they just go out and want to thrash it.
I don't think there'll be a change in mindset from England on the field. I think it's more off the field because they've been preparing for the last World Cup.
A lot of muscle there for Du Plessis.
Painful. You're better off with a layer of fat there, I think. In the gap, they'll be back for a couple. Really good work this being done by Du Plessis and de Kock.
Interesting how Jordan goes. Definitely bowling from that end where Jordan is. The boundary to the leg side now with the right-hander on strike is a reasonably big hit. So you'd think he'd bowl it into the surface, a little bit like Liam Plunkett used to do in the 50 overs, cross feed, a lot of cutters, and say to Du Plessis, go on, But he can't become predictable and bowl every ball back of the length. Otherwise, Faf du Plessis will pull him for 6. He's got to mix it up a bit. Too short so far. Shot. Oh, lovely. He's played a couple of those. Yeah, he did mix it up and he got dealt with again. It's that split grip that du Plessis has. It just enables him to take the aerial route so easily. The bottom hand just comes through and it's a flick of the wrist.
Yeah, you almost feel that he's identified anything full. He's going to go the aerial route with mud off in the ring. When you speak about Nas where change of length and making sure that he goes the shorter option with the bigger boundary to the leg side and reverts to that. I've always been interested by Chris Jordan. You talk about the effect of Jofra Archer. Is he somebody that gets used quite often in that power play as well in T20?
No, I wouldn't say so, because Jordan has become so good towards the end of an innings. Morgan tends to hold him back. He bowls wide Yorkers, or he'll bowl it into the surface. There was a T20 game against Australia at the Ageas Bowl in the summer where him and Curran had to defend 19, and Morgan gave him the 19th over, as you know, JP, probably the most important over, and he went for 3 or 4, and then Curran protected the remaining runs. So Morgan likes to use him later in the innings.
In the IPL, I think, as many do internationals, they struggle with being in and out of side. It's like you're trialing every game you play. If you don't quite have a good one, off you go, next guy in. There's so many waiting on the sides, and so it's difficult to get into any sort of rhythm. As you say, generally a very good death bowler. Got to finish. 8 off that one. It's 71 for 1.
That overspin, getting the ball to bounce into the splice so that the batsmen don't find it even so easy to manoeuvre around, never mind belt it out the park. And also, let's be honest, wrist spin is quite a difficult art to master, so there is a bit more natural variation in length. Your finger spinner lands it on a sixpence, so you sort of know where it's going to be. Your wrist spinner does drag the odd one down, does go a little bit wider, just from natural. Adil's done that over the years, so you can't really set yourself.
And he bowled a nice one for us.
And also what you add to the equation is the fact that they can basically spin it both ways. So sometimes captains are very scared of going to a finger spin. They can only spin it one way with the left hand at the crease. They're actually going upstairs. Must have been a little bit of a noise. Butler wasn't overly convinced, but the captain Morgan was at backward point and he walked up and I think he heard something. And he's now going to ask the umpires to have a look. Could it be a massive wicket?
It'll be a mighty surprise because Butler didn't seem interested. With the bat so well away from the body, we'll find out soon enough. We need ultra edge here. That's the one that'll tell us, I reckon. Let's just call Owen Morgan's decision to review over enthusiastic.
Yeah, that is the first. Normally it's either the bowler or the wicketkeeper who's got an inkling, and then they convince the captain. This time, keeper and bowler weren't interested whatsoever, but the captain was. Haneker gets it right.
Well, you know, there's two reviews in these games.
Yeah, there's been two introduced ever since it's been neutral umpire.
Yeah.
Even though the T20s used to be
That's
neutral
right, used to
umpires,
be
they
one.
just carried it over.
And safe. Shout to catch it, but actually nowhere near extra cover. Cock's done that a lot to Rashid already, little chips over the infield. When he hasn't quite got to the pitch of the ball, he's still gone through with the stroke.
You'll probably be looking leg side. There's the chip from de Kock. You're probably looking to slog sweep leg side. That's why Rashid's throwing it up outside off. That was a wrong one. At the moment, because of that good over against Curran and because they got a partnership and they're going well, they're happy to milk. 78 for 1.
ESP is a methodology for enhancing human behavior.
So the look I'm starting to see is not right.
7 magnificent fixtures. This weekend, live on Sky Sports. Feel it all. Stories of the match are told in shadows as the sun drops over the mountain here in Cape Town. Terrific cricket from, well, first Faf du Plessis, but now Quinton de Kock as well. Partnership of 72 coming in quick time, and 4 will be added to it.
And make that 76. And I think Vietjes say to the South Africans before the start of the game, who would you want a partnership between? If you had to pick up all the 7 batsmen at the crease, they would have said we want Quinton de Kock and Faf du Plessis to get together and make a contribution, and they've done brilliantly. Moved across his stumps early. Jordan continued to maybe go with the policy of attacking the stumps. You miss our hit, and Faf du Plessis just gets a bit of a feather, and away she goes.
South Africa's best partnership for the second wicket in T20 cricket against England.
Those two deliveries reminded me of that test match here, that famous test match where England won on that last day, and Broad just put a man in round the corner. Was it to Van der Dussen? Just on the leg side, a leg slip, and the very next ball tickled one.